I switched cameras. This is a camera I have been using. It's a HS350 Elph Canon. Shot very good photographs, very pocketable. I mean, it's a very tiny camera. And it took a lot of abuse, meaning it traveled a lot with me. The controls are fairly simple. If you're used to a Canon, the controls are, Canon point and shoot. The controls are pretty good. Far more capable than a phone for various types of shooting. This particular one can zoom out to about 100mm, if you're familiar with that, focal length, and it can digitally zoom out to 300, which is the bare minimum for wildlife. Now, let's be clear, these little cameras don't shoot the way a big SLR 35mm camera shoots. You're going to get a much better quality picture. You're going to pay a lot more too, but you're going to get a pretty beautiful photograph out of a single lens reflex that you can't duplicate with these cameras, but they have a lot of capability. Now I'll show you the camera I switched to. This is my new camera. This is a Canon SX730 HS. Slightly larger. I can't do them side by side because I'm shooting on the other Canon camera now. But it's slightly larger, but it's still manageable. And it takes a pretty good photograph. It has a lot of manual overrides. Now, you can use these manual overrides, but they're going to take you a little longer to do. But if you want to set your f-stop and your shutter speed, you can do it. It has a better microphone, which is recessed, a little bit less wind noise. It has so many features, I hardly know what to do with them. I'm primarily concerned with shooting video, simple video, and still photography. Now, this one has a monster lens. It goes out to, let's see here, this can zoom out to almost 1,000mm on digital. It'll go to, I think, 600mm on optical, and then almost 1,000. So this does tricks that the other one simply cannot do. It shoots distance. So this allows me to get closer to wildlife. Again, it's a compromise. The camera can get me some photographs, but they're not going to be the highest quality photographs because it is just a pocket camera. When you ask a lens to do that kind of distance from 24mm wide angle to 1,000mm telephoto, that's asking an awful lot of a camera. But it does it. It just doesn't do it perfectly well. With a camera like the SX730, a long telephoto, you have to have a tripod, and you're going to need a tripod for macro photography also if you're doing that. So I carry a couple of them. This is a tiny ultra pod. It gets very small, it folds up very small. You can flip this top down. Let's see if I can do it with one hand. This can flip down with one hand and you'll have just a very small package. The other one is this Manfrotto. It is metal, it can hold a bit more weight. This camera is not heavy. It also has an extender top, which I'll put on. So the center column, you can spin off the top, the head, put in the center column, and then screw the head back on. This also extends higher, so you can get it's fairly stable. I'm not going to tighten it all up, but it's somewhat compact, a little heavy. This is another Ultrapod. It's a lightweight, larger version of the little one that I showed. Very similar, very stable, good for macro photography depending on what you're doing. So with these little tripods, you know, you want them, they can go nice and low, so you can get close-up shots low. With a larger tripod, I carry two larger tripods. They only go to about 50 inches max. They don't go that high. They're just, I haven't found a good compact tripod that's stable and small yet. So I just use what I have, but they work fine. I'll do some telephoto shots with a larger tripod, and you can see you just can't shoot handheld with a 1000mm lens. So I'm just carrying a real small slick tripod. It only goes about a little over waist high on the legs, and then you can extend it a little bit more on a center column, which makes it shaky, but it's good enough for what I'm doing. The case I use for the Canon 730, the case I use for the SX730 is slightly larger. It holds the camera with a zipper. It holds the closes with a zipper closure, which is adequate for what I'm doing. It's quick enough for me to get it out. I took off the zipper pulls and just put on some corded ones. Now this one, it has a separate pocket. You can open this, and there is a separate battery and a strap, so you could use this as a neck strap on the case. And you can also fit a memory card in there if you need it. I mean, I just buy such a big memory card, I don't need to have a spare memory card. But the battery is a good thing to have. Batteries are pretty important. This is the battery for the smaller camera, and this is the battery for the bigger camera. I can tell you from experience, the smaller battery on the smaller camera saves a lot of space, makes the camera very compact, but it doesn't last very long, particularly on video. Video, you're shooting about 30 frames a second in these cameras, and the bigger camera with a bigger battery is a little bit more robust, and it lasts a lot longer. I can shoot a lot of video with it. I carry several batteries and the means to recharge them in the trailer, so that covers it. So I'm having a lot of fun with these cameras. Again, if you're using a phone, they're fine. I just wanted a lot more capability. I'll throw a few samples. I'm not a very good photographer, but I do like to have fun with my camera, and this trip has not afforded me a lot of photo opportunities, but I'm hopeful in the future I'll get a lot more use out of it, especially that super zoom, which I'll show you how that looks in a second. Here's a beautiful vernal pool full of salamanders, frogs. Vernal pools have no fish, so there's a lot less predators. Frogs and salamanders prefer them, and that provides great habitats for frogs and salamanders, and they'll travel quite a distance to get to a safe vernal pool to lay their eggs and raise their young, and boy, there are a lot of them here. This pond appears to be full of salamanders and pollywogs. I can't tell one from the other. That to me is a salamander. Yeah. I guess that's the water phase of their life. Looks like they're good friends. Salamanders, amphibians, reptiles, they're really sensitive to water quality. The water must be pretty good. There's a lot of salamanders in here. The things that get them are weed killers, lawn chemicals, pesticides, industrial pollution, all the stuff that suburbia is made of. But these guys have found a home.